born into chaos and overlooked in today's discourse. Ever wonder why Gen X seems to be the forgotten generation in modern conversation? Today, we dive right into the heart of the Gen X experience, a journey that has seen them navigate through an incredibly chaotic world, only to be overlooked in today's discourse. Born into the wild tides of hippie culture or its antithesis, the Gen Xers were just old enough to remember the Vietnam War, the moon landing, and Batman. They were thrust into an era brimming with the earliest waves of pop culture, yet marred by a world that was largely undeveloped, poverty-stricken, and dictator-controlled. The 70s, their formative years, were marked by events like the Jim Jones massacre, Nixon's presidency, gas shortages, and the collapse of the American industrial complex, the Iran-Contra affair, the heyday of the most popular serial killers, 2 Iraq wars, the great S&L crisis of the 80s. This was an era where American culture peaked, then collapsed. And Gen Xers, they watched it all crumble right from their black and white TVs, under the narration of Walter Cronkite. They were the silent witnesses to a world on fire, from coal riots in Europe to the Islamic Revolution in the Middle East. Despite their youth, Gen Xers were savvy enough to realize the system was broken. They saw the adults around them in a constant state of panic, and they learned to navigate through the chaos. The streets were their playground, and survival became their game, squeezed between baby boomers and millennials. Fast forward to today, and Gen X, having been born between 1965 and 1980, finds itself squeezed out of the frame. They're sandwiched between the baby boomers and the millennials, 2 generations that couldn't be more different. And yet, in many ways, Gen X serves as a bridge between these two, a straight-line connection amidst the noise. However, this doesn't mean Gen Xers are without their distinct traits. They've shown a tendency to lean more independent than both the boomers and millennials. They also express more pessimism about their retirement prospects, a sentiment likely tied to the economic stresses of middle age. And interestingly, when asked if they thought their generation was unique, only about half of Gen Xers agreed. Even among those who did, there was little consensus, overlooked and downplaying their distinctiveness. So to summarize, Gen X, born into a chaotic world, learned to survive amidst anarchy and mayhem, only to be overlooked in today's conversation. They serve as a bridge between 2 vastly different generations, and despite their unique traits, they often downplay their distinctiveness. Perhaps it's time we pay more attention to this generation that has silently helped shape the world we live in today. This is the Gen X experience, the story of the forgotten generation.